Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I want to talk a bit about carpal tunnel syndrome and how you can take care of it naturally. Now, back when I was pregnant with my first child, that was also the same time that I was really at the height of my business with the ballet school, and we were doing several dance performances per year. And so not only being pregnant, but sewing costumes like crazy, and then having to type up letters and all this different stuff was, I started having pain in my arm and the numbness and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't sleep at night, and then it started in the other arm. And I finally had never heard of carpal tunnel syndrome, but finally went to the doctor and found out that's what it was. Obviously, cortisone shots and surgery were not the way to deal with things, especially being pregnant at the time. So I was given wrist splints, and those seemed to help. But it wasn't until years later that I discovered a way to deal with the carpal tunnel syndrome, and I stopped having problems. And in fact, I just recently started having issues again, and it took me, because it's been so many years that it's bothered me, that it took me a while to figure out what was going on. And so I had some really sharp pains going on in here. A lot of times it would go clear up to my elbow, even up to my shoulder. Anyone who's had to deal with this would know. Now, this would be a result of, well, YouTube, video editing, running the mouse and the keypad, and then all the sewing of all the skirts, because I've had skirt orders. I mean, I can't even keep skirts stocked in my Etsy store. They go really fast. So I've been sewing skirts like crazy, and then running the treadle machine, putting that spin on, making the gathers, making the hem, all this stuff, and then crocheting stuff as well, has little by little been taking a toll. And when it finally hit me, why this pain felt familiar, I thought it was coming from my upper back. I thought I had something pinched on in my upper back, and that was causing, you know, the nerve here, because I've had that happen before too. But then it finally dawned on me what was going on. And so I'm still in the process of healing, but now that I know what's going on and how to deal with it, I am already starting to get better, and I've only been doing this for a couple of days. So I want to share with you a very natural way. I mean, surgery is not the way to go. And a lot of times you're convinced, oh, you have to get the surgery or the nerve damage is going to be permanent. And for those of you who don't know what carpal tunnel syndrome is, what happens is you have what's called the carpal tunnel, and in there is what is the median nerve. And as you get swelling, inflammation, and it swells up and it shrinks that tunnel, which then pinches that nerve, and that is what causes the pain and or the numbness in your hand, and it can go clear up to your shoulder. And so the two most common ways that the doctors are going to recommend is the surgery and cortisone shots, and I say both are bad. In both cases, it is highly likely you will have to keep going back, get more surgeries, get more cortisone shots, when really there's very simple ways to deal with this on your own. And at least for me, it's been highly, highly effective. All right, now the first thing I say you need to start with is figuring out how best to deal with the inflammation. Now, inflammation, that anyone who's following me, a lot of you probably already know, is really at that and the gut disorders, which a lot of the inflammation in the gut, inflammation throughout our whole body, is what's causing so many of our different diseases and health issues that we're having. So curing or helping with that inflammation by using natural means, not ibuprofen, not acetaminophen, but truly natural things that are all around us. And I can almost guarantee, even if you're not growing medicinal herbs out in your garden, you probably have some really good things right in your cupboard that will help with inflammation. And I'm going to go over those, just some of them, because there's a good amount of really great ones. So dealing with the inflammation is very important. Now, I'm going to start by, first I'm going to show you a couple of tinctures. This is one that I strained out not too long ago, and this has been helpful. All this is Echinacea. And Echinacea is great. We think of it as a cold and flu prevention remedy, etc., etc. However, it is also a really great pain reliever and anti-inflammatory. And I've tried this one a couple times. I've been kind of mixing things up, which I recommend you do, to keep mixing up different anti-inflammatory things. And one reason is to find out which one's going to work best for you. And also because I think when we keep kind of mixing it up, it's going to work best for us if we do that and don't try to just stick to one thing. Then the other one I have here, and it needs to be strained out, it's just about ready, is my pain and anti-inflammatory tincture, which is a mix of feverfew, marshmallow, echinacea, and catnip. Now, I'm going to go on more about this, but I have a video of how I made this, and you can find it right up here. But in a future video, I'm going to talk more about different pain and anti-inflammatory tinctures you can make. But that's that, and really all you need, if it's made like a true tincture with 80 proof and alcohol and above, all you need is a tablespoon. If you're going to make it as an extract, you're going to need a little bit more, like maybe up to a whole shot or 2 ounces. But I'll be covering that more in more tincture extract making videos to come, so be watching for those in the future. Now, next thing I'm going to show you are some herbs. This is why I'm doing this in the kitchen, because I wanted to remember all these things, because this is what I have currently right now, and I know there's more around here too. But these herbs right here are herbs that I grow in my garden. Now, rosemary is really great for an anti-inflammatory. Sage is a biggie. It's like really, it's way up there on the list for one of the best anti-inflammatory herbs. And a lot of people have rosemary and sage in their cupboard. And I grow this for where we're at. This is one of the herbs that, besides mints, anything in the mint family, sage grows awesome for us and stays green all year round. The rosemary stays green year round too. It just doesn't grow as prolifically here in our very wet climate as it does in the drier climates. And then another really easy to grow, 2 more easy to grow herbs, and I've talked about these before and I have videos on these, is the feverfew, which this one, though it's very bitter and has just a really kind of awful taste, it is highly effective for both pain and inflammation. And we have been known to just go out and eat it right off the plant. Just eat the fresh leaves, and I find those tend to be the most effective. And then another is catnip that I grow in my garden. It is a part of the mint family, so it grows very easy. So these are things I wanted to show you, because these are things that you can easily grow in your own garden. And then of course there's the echinacea that I mentioned already in the tincture, and here it is in the herb form. You can find a video on the other health benefits of echinacea, and I'll post that right up here. But yes, a great anti-inflammatory and pain reliever. And then another is marshmallow, and this one, it might be difficult to get it started initially, but once you have it established in your garden, this will grow like crazy and give you an abundance of marshmallow leaves and flowers. Now for the marshmallow, the health benefits are all throughout the whole plant, mostly in the leaves and in the roots. The echinacea, some people think most of it's in the roots. Well, what I found out is actually most of it is in the leaves. And I haven't dug up any roots of either my echinacea or my marshmallow yet, because I've been wanting them to get really well established. So I was very excited to find that out. So those are just the things that I grow in my own garden that are good anti-inflammatory and pain relievers. And then a few other things would be turmeric, which one of these days I hope to grow. Ginger, another one I would love to be able to grow someday. I've tried these both a couple of times. One day I'll get it. I am going to try it in the pots, like people have recommended, inside, and see if that does better for me. Cloves, and then your Ceylon cinnamon. Now, obviously I'm showing you sticks. You can use the, ground cinnamon or whatever. Thankfully, these are things I already add to my jet fueled latte, and that I have every morning. So of course that's going to be helpful in that way. Plus making teas with all these different herbs, and using them in cooking and baking and all that stuff. So really for inflammation, if you're just getting a good variety of lots of herbs and spices into your diet, that's going to help a lot with inflammation in general. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to show you some exercises or stretches you can do that should be very effective in helping with your carpal tunnel syndrome. And the interesting thing about this is a lot of these actually come from a form of martial arts that I have black belt. Some of you know this already, but some of you don't. I have 2 black belts, one in Wu Wei Gung Fu, which is based off the taproots of Bruce Lee. And yes, I am a 2nd generation Bruce Lee student. And also a black belt in Taekwondo. But the exercises I'm going to show you, I learned mostly from Wu Wei, which goes back to the Wing Chun. That is some simple hand and wrist exercises we used to do to warm up our muscles and to strengthen the wrists for doing grappling work. And if you don't know what grappling is, that would be grabbing people, doing takedown moves and stuff like that. So it's very simple is an exercise like this. These kind of exercises, and any of you who watch the original Karate Kid may even recognize some of this, because these exercises do more than stretch. They help develop the muscles for self-defense. Believe it or not, the wax on, wax off thing, that actually is real, and it really does work. I found that Wu Wei was one of the most helpful things in martial arts to help me understand the way of movement, which is what that means, and being able to use just very simple circular motions to take people down. And now another one would be going side to side like this. Side to side. So you push your wrists out with the fingers in, then you go the opposite way. And you just keep doing this. Back and forth. This is both a stretch and an exercise. It will strengthen the muscles, but the stretching for the carpal tunnel is partly what's really, really important. And I was surprised simple stretches did so much for my wrists. Now, a couple other ones, and this isn't supposed to be based on anything weird, but would be by putting your hands in the prayer position, pointing them outwards like this, and then pulling them in as far as you can. And you should feel a stretch, and then just kind of hold it as long as you can, and then release. Well, hold it for as long as you can, up to 30 seconds. And then you can go the other way, push out. My wrist is still pretty sore right now, so some of this is a little bit difficult for me, but it's getting better because I've been doing this. Okay, and then another one is this way, or you can even do it with both hands, like I was just doing with the palms together, by putting the backs of the hands together and stretching this way, and then stretching this way. Okay, and then stretching back like this. Okay, and then same thing, other side. Do this several times a day. And just keep up on it, and you may find within a day, if you do this, let's say 3 times a day, do it in the morning, do it in the middle of the day, and do it in the evening. And just keep gently stretching that, and you'll find that each time you do it, you should be able to get a little farther with less pain as you do these. Okay, so I'm going to go over these again. So the wrist exercise is this way, up and down. The paint the fence move, right? And then the side to side. Remember side side? I'm telling you, these are real, and they really are useful. So that movie wasn't totally off, I'm telling you. Okay, and then even wrist circles like this. Okay, just simple wrist circles going both ways. Okay, so you're stretching and you're working those muscles, but I say focus mostly on the stretches. The wrist exercises are great, but anything that's going to stretch. I've been doing this and doing it very slowly, like you would for Tai Chi. Very slowly, because then you're getting a really good stretch as you're doing that, and then here and here. Those are just some of the exercises you can do, just a few of them that I believe that you should find very helpful. And then maybe one of these days down the road, I'm thinking about it, if people are interested, I may start shooting a few videos on some basic self-defense moves that are just very simple and easy to catch on to. So if you're interested in that, let me know in comments below. And I would also, if you get into this and you know you have carpal tunnel, you've got whatever, even if you have some kind of wrist pain going on and you don't know what it is, I don't recommend wearing splints unless it's the only way you can keep your wrist from moving, because here's another thing too, is you do need to allow some time to rest. So I'm having to kind of back off on my skirt sewing right now and a few other things to give this time to the swelling to go down and to let it heal a little bit, but I can still do a little bit. I just have to move a little bit slower. And then of course, I almost forgot to say this, don't forget ice. So you might have seen my video, or maybe not if you're new. I have a video on how to make your own hot cold packs, and I'll go ahead and link to that right up here if I remember. And I made a whole bunch of just really basic ones for us. I'm liking this size and shape best for all kinds of things. And I keep one of these in our freezer all the time. And so I can simply, in this one, I just took out of the freezer, and I can wrap my hand in it or wrist in it like this. I almost forgot to mention that. And then this pack, I want to show you how I did it, is I actually did make 2 layers. First I made just the actual pack with the rice and some flaxseed in there, a little bit of essential oil to give it a nice scent, and then made an outer pouch, kind of like a pillowcase, so that I can take that and just throw it in the wash at any time. Look in your kitchen cupboards and see what you have for inflammation. Start using it in your cooking, make yourself some teas out of it, and then consider making some tinctures as well out of any of these herbs to help with your inflammation. And then really the stretching is one of the biggest things I found to help the most, more than anything, is doing these simple stretches. Make sure you do them before you start any activity where you're going to be, whether it be typing, sewing, crocheting, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that's causing this in here, that's causing overuse and causing it to swell up and to pinch that nerve, please make sure you do all these stretches and warm-ups before you start that activity, and then again after the activity. It's very important. That's I think going to be the biggest key that's going to help you. So again, stay away from surgery. Probably one of the very worst things you can do, and cortisone shots are not good for you either. So you can do this very inexpensively at home and very simply. And what I would like to hear from you is, if you try this, you have any issues and you try these stretches and you start working with some of these different herbs and doing the ice, I want to hear your success story. Or if you've already done it, I would like to hear that, and just go ahead and put that in comments down below and share with us. Or maybe you had some other natural methods that you used that we might want to learn from. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.